News when you want it with Bloomberg News Now. I'm Nathan Hager.
And I'm Karen Moscow.
Karen, we begin with an important development in the Middle East this morning. Iran says it has reached an agreement with Oman on a proposed shipping route through the Strait of Hormuz. Both countries have been in talks on this for several days, though an Iranian foreign ministry spokesman has not mentioned any role for the U.S. in the discussions. We get the latest from Bloomberg Middle East correspondent Abir Abu Omar in Dubai.
There's a lot of details to be ironed out here about just how exactly ships that are outbound and inbound would make their way through the Strait of Hormuz. We'll await more details once that draft is publicized. But what we know from the Iranian side, and you mentioned the spokesperson for the foreign ministry, Ismail Bakai, that said that negotiations are forward moving and the deal would be struck if certain third parties do not obstruct the process. Obviously, they're referring to the United States, perhaps Israel as well.
And Bloomberg's Abir Abu Omar reports this latest announcement follows months of deadlock between the U.S. and Iran on how to end their war. President Trump has claimed breakthroughs repeatedly before, but a lasting agreement has remained elusive.
Meanwhile, Nathan, President Trump is denying that the U.S. is running low on munitions. That's after the Washington Post reported he clashed with Defense Secretary Pete Hegseth at Camp David last week about shortages of long-range guided missiles and air defense interceptors. In a Truth Social post, the president said the U.S. has massive amounts of munitions, and the, quote, leakers of these treasonous statements are being hunted down.
Hey, Karen, President Trump's also speaking out after progressive Democrat Abdul El-Sayed's victory in the Michigan Senate primary.
Abdul El-Sayed, lovely gentleman. He's a man of hate. And now he's going around saying, no, I love everybody. He doesn't love everybody. Put him in office. You're going to find out what he loves.
The president called Abdul El-Sayed a communist who hates Jews and Israel at an event in Las Vegas aimed at touting his economic agenda. El-Sayed responded on CNN.
Look at the background. It says no tax on tips. The man can't stay on focus. That's like the one thing that he did to offer any economic relief. But instead of that, he's more focused on me.
Abdul El-Sayed says he is a capitalist who condemns anti-Semitism, though he has accused Israel of genocide in its war in Gaza. El-Sayed defeated establishment-backed Congresswoman Haley Stevens in the primary and will now face Republican Mike Rogers in a high-profile general election race that could determine control of the Senate.
Well, Nathan, President Trump has reportedly spoken repeatedly with Kevin Warsh since he became chairman of the Federal Reserve. The Wall Street Journal reports the president has sought Warsh's counsel on a range of matters, including how the war in Iran and the rapid rise of artificial intelligence are affecting the economy. The paper says it isn't clear if Trump and Warsh have discussed monetary policy. However, their communication sparks concerns about the independence of the Fed.
Well, Karen, Fed Governor Lisa Cook says she's ready to raise interest rates if inflation doesn't slow. She spoke at an event in Alaska.
If I do not see signs of continued disinflation soon, I am prepared to act. With 5 years of above target inflation, the risk grows that higher inflation may become entrenched in price and wage setting behavior, leading to persistence that would be much harder for us to attack. The longer inflation is above target, the more likely this scenario becomes.
And Fed Governor Lisa Cook went on to say her priority remains getting inflation back to the Fed's 2% target. She says she is firmly committed to restoring price stability.
Well, Nathan, we now turn to the markets. Global stocks are retreating from record highs on weakness in chip stocks. Memory maker Sandisk down more than 9% in early trading, while rival Western Digital is lower by almost 15% after both companies reported earnings.
And in Asia, Karen, a second flash crash in SK Hynix shares has raised fresh questions about South Korea's new alternative stock exchange. The chipmaker briefly fell 30% in pre-market trading on next trade before ending the 50-minute session down about 2%. SK Hynix then dropped another 6.5% in regular trading on South Korea's main stock exchange as the company tracked a broader chip sell-off.
Nathan, today could be another critical day for SpaceX. We get details with Bloomberg's Charlie Pellett.
Just over $100 billion worth of SpaceX shares become available for trading. Insiders, should they choose, can start unloading shares when a lockup agreement ends. Stephen Wesley is a former board member at Tesla. He's now the co-founder of the Wesley Group.
This is a bit of a different IPO where shareholders can sell 20% of their holdings within 90 days. And so one of the questions out here is going to be, how many people are going to hit the exits early?
The traditional 180 90-day lockup for other shares ends December 8th. Elon Musk's shares remain locked until June of next year. In New York, Charlie Pellet, Bloomberg Radio.
And that's news when you want it with Bloomberg News Now. I'm Karen Moscow.
I'm Nathan Hager, and this is Bloomberg.